that this is something where they run a dual lane and try to apply pressure to the safe lane of Mouz? Is that even possible against the Juggernaut?
I mean, Jug Coddle definitely has a good defensive property. It kind of depends on where Spartan goes
and try to
start things off. When they ran the Keeper Light with the Legion Commander, they usually actually offlane the Coddle and helped the offlane scenario go into like a 2v3. But if there is an aggressive stance for VGJ, he might have to make some adjustments. They usually actually... I'm not sold that it will like run over the lane, but at least it's worth trying before just dipping into the jungle.
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing a Magnus, honestly, out of mousesports. Run that there with the Keeper of the Light. You start spamming out the wave constantly, then get the side pulls off, and eventually have Empower Juggernaut. I haven't seen Mouz run that all that often, but it is certainly something that could work well.
Yeah, I think that Magnus definitely fits the build for what would enable the Juggernaut to do the most potential damage. However, I don't necessarily think it's in Thug's repertoire. He definitely has a lot of heroes that he can run, but usually they're much more self-dependent heroes, where they're just able to go in, put out a lot of damage, and just make the most of each fight. So we saw the Ember Spirit from him last time, focusing on split push and doing burst damage in team fights. Often you'll see heroes like Shadow Fiend, TA, and OD in his playstyle as well. So I just, in general, think that he's going to be providing less utility and overall control, and just mostly focusing on bursting down heroes like the Omni.
What about if it was Skylark, though, playing that instead?
Okay, I could definitely see that. I could see that working out pretty well, depending on what supports you're going up against.
Right.
Rubik is already banned out, fortunately. But yeah, it is something that can work in that situation. It just really comes down to what you're up against. You already know the Night Stalker support, but you have to be worried about a few other alternatives in the pool.
Yeah, and there's 3 melees online now. Ember Spirit going to be taken for Vici J, the Freeze Classic. This was another one of those just highly mobile mid heroes that he loves to play on. And Mouz, they're going to take the Bane as the next pick. I guess, is this just a... To me, this kind of signals that either A, you want to try and run this mid to secure whatever is going to be the mid laner's farm, or B, you have it as a strong laning hero and then the Coddle is going to be going for the dual off lane.
Yeah, I think this is much more signaling a 2-1-2. This is a situation where, yeah, you could do Bane and Coddle together and try to go for like Nightmare and do Illuminate kind of stuff, which can create some kills, but you are up against an Omni Knight, and that hero is just generally going to be hard to bring down in that fashion. So I'd much more expect to see Juggernaut Bane dual lane at top, and then Coddle would be dual laning bottom with Skylark's offlaner. And that's going to be the Bristol. Okay, this is good. This is Chakra Magic plus the Quill Spray doubled up to really put out a lot of physical damage. And I mean, it really didn't matter what VGJ picked up. This duo is just so synergetic, and it's going to really put pressure on the lanes.
All right, so we've got a lot of physical damage, not a ton of magical damage, maybe like little bits and pieces here and there, and you know, Bane's going to be throwing out some pure from time to time as well. Is that something that maybe VGJ can take advantage of? Think about going for the long-lost Fen that's taken a little bit more of a backseat since the patches that nerf the jungle, or stacking rather.
Sure. I think high armor heroes in general, the Sven, the Terrorblade, could definitely be in a good position here because there is that much physical damage. But I also think just mousesports are pretty intelligent about their overall pickups right now. They know that the Omni Knight and the Ember Spirit are really good against that magical damage, so they just don't really make that a big factor for their draft. They're able to do just a lot with little here between the Juggernaut and the Bristleback, and I think that they've got a kind of a good hybrid bit of damage. So yeah, I think the safe lane carry for VTJ, specifically for aggressive, will have a pretty high armor value, but they've also got a mix it up here in magical with Thug's OD, and I think this is exactly what mousesports wanted out of the draft. Yeah,
this makes like anything like the Sven less appetizing now as well. And VGJ are put in a really awkward position because even that hero you're talking about earlier, Terrorblade too, it doesn't like going up against the OD at all. Heroes still left in the pool that deal well with Bristle and OD? I don't even know what that would be.
Sniper.
All right. Well, that's going to be their answer of choice. Might be a safe lane Ember Spirit, which again is still going to have a pretty low armor value against Bristleback. Otherwise, I guess they could safe lane the Sniper. But more commonly, you'll see Sniper versus OD as the mid matchup that favors the Sniper. And especially if you can get some help from the Night Stalker, you could still see some kills that direction. So we'll see how it all pans out here. One thing that I do like about the Sniper pick is the lack of control on mousesports. They really don't have much in terms of hard disables. The Bane, obviously, with Fiend scripting. But if you're going across the like say the river to go for a Fiend's Grip on Sniper, you're going to be putting yourself in a position where it can really be quickly interrupted by Disruptor or Night Stalker. So overall, I have to say, mousesports lack control. They're going to have to make up for it in damage, and we'll have to see what kind of oomph they bring to the winning stage.
All right, well, here we go. Game number 2. mousesports wanting to make sure that they can move on and go into that bracket for the playoffs in a good position and not being in one of the lower seeds here, as they're going to face off against Vici J. Should be a very exciting matchup. To me, at least, it definitely feels like mousesports is on a timer here. When eventually Sniper is able to get into a bunch of items and Ember Spirit also just roaming around the map like that. Do you think that that's the case, or do you think that mousesports are always going to be potent even into the later stages?
The lack of control is very problematic, I think. They're going to be able to hit a really good timing here where their mid game is really strong if they have some momentum behind them, but the longer the game goes on, it actually gets very scary. No matter how many carries you have, if you lack control, it's going to be very hard to actually get on the targets that you're looking for. So I do have to say that they are on a bit of a timer. They want to like get 2 or 3 items on each core, and then they just want to start pushing and dominating everything. Because long term, you're going to get a nice space buffer with the kinetic field. You're going to have a lot of protection from the Omni Knight, and it's just going to allow the Sniper to build very glass cannon.
All right, well, here we are, game number 2, and we'll see if the glass cannon guys can do it. GLHF, my boys. Spartan, always the provider of goodwill, and silence is met from the VGJ squad. They just don't know how to handle it. They don't know what you're doing. You'll love to see that.
Starting things off, we have a nice little observer ward here from the mousesports side. Going to be kind of getting an idea of the rotations coming in from FY on this Night Stalker, who's actually going to be picking it up instead of Fenrir. I kind of find that pretty interesting just because Fenrir has been more known for like his in-your-face style. He used to play a lot of Undying, for example. But yeah, in this case, FY feels the most confident going for the boots first play on Valinar here. And yeah, I think he is going to be doing a lot of that rotation from top to mid. So maybe next time already kind of being preemptive about it.
In the meantime, Spartan should be able to block out for the mid if they want to go that route. Thug making sure nobody's going to come to steal his bounty rune, and looks like everything will just be traded off. Do you like the decision by Vici J to try and dodge away from the Bristleback? And I guess Skylark, they're not going to be able to dodge it that well, as he is going to be heading up towards the top.
Yeah, it turns into musical lanes a little bit here, but I do think that mousesports read this position pretty well. Vici J go for the aggro play and end up sending, at least for now, the Night Stalker, the Disruptor, and the Ember up top. And that opens up the great opportunity for Spartan and Skylark to make their duo work. So this actually works really well because the Omni Knight shouldn't really be able to do too much against Omni Jug bottom. And then, of course, you have yourselves the exact duo you wanted up top.
Well, here we go. Skylark already taken a little bit of damage as FY is there, but decides he wants to man up a little bit. And Bristleback, a hero that if you start to stack up those quill sprays can become a huge problem for all of these heroes, is aggressive, already taking a little bit of damage. Until he gets to that passive, though, he needs to be at least slightly careful.
Yeah, I think this is the best timing window to put out all this harassment, though, is the time before everybody picks up their magic sticks. They did not know they were going to be up against the Bristleback, so they don't have their magic sticks. In fact, Omni Knight queued his up, so RTK definitely thought he was going to be landing against Skylark. And the fact that it's top now, it definitely means that this is the best timing window where they can just put in a little bit of extra harassment. Find level 2, get some chakra, and then level 3, get another point in the quill spray to just continue to really make this River Spirit's lane difficult.
Yeah, and Vici J say, we don't want any more of this lane at all. The Night Stalker is going to head out, those boots making his travel to the bottom lane a little bit more swift. That does leave Ember Spirit aggressive alone for the moment, and with these pulls coming off, it's going to be hard for aggressive to really get a lot out of this lane without putting himself at least a little bit of danger.
Yeah, at least they get a little bit of leverage bottom, where it was going to be a clean sweep for mousesports. Now they have something to fight with, and even like the early degen and purification could allow them to fight quite a bit. But yeah, this top lane's still going to be at a big disadvantage. Aggressive right now sitting on only 1 armor. Even if he has the magic stick, he still really has to worry about that multi-quill spray coming out with the chalk magic.
Now, and meanwhile, mid, it's often said that Sniper is a hard counter to the OD, but at least so far OD's been able to have a decent time. That's mainly just once you get into the higher levels of the passive for Sniper as well, right?
Yeah, mostly. It really depends on like if he's getting ganks for him as well, that they can really do a lot with that. Right now, early headshot is just going to do a little good poking and prodding, and I mean the illusion room is nice and will help out too. But if there's any kills coming out, I actually think it's probably going to be on aggressive overstepping against this dual lane top.
Well, and speaking of which, there might be an opportunity for it. An early point in Vicious Nasal Goo is going to mean that Aggressive has to use a TP to go to the Shrine. It's not always the build that you get. I guess that's mainly out of the off-lane Bristlebacks that you'll see the early point in Bristleback, but leaving that skill alone for the moment.
Yeah, I think you can go for like the 0-4-2-1 build in a lot of situations, but here you're just, okay, well, they're going to be getting a full magic stick charge anyways, so might as well just spit some goo on them, and it means that, yeah, if he doesn't have a TP scroll, he can be killed off very easily. So, yeah, it's good until level 6. Once there's level 6 on the Ember Spirit, it really, the goo should not be a factor at all.
Okay. Now, in the meantime, Spartan building up a little bit of farm for himself while they get the pull off to deny out the farm from Vici J. And with the Flame Guard pop, this should be enough for Aggressive to take down these couple of big creeps and head back into lane. So he's still been able to make a life for himself in this one.
Yeah, at least for the moment, we'll see. But in the meantime, Free's doing really well against Thug. Is now at kind of that nice little level 4, level 5 area where the OD can't really get in range for Astral Imprisonment cleanly, and is always going to be taking extra little pot shots from Freeze here and there.
Okay. Well, again, FY going to be pushed back as they get ready to try and steal away the runes. Spartan able to have the Swingers move a little bit more swift, and oh, the double goo. They're going to start to stack this up, but FY with the point Hunter in the Night is going to be hard to bring down. And, well, actually, Bane picking up the haste turn. Are they going to make this full rotation? They're going in towards Freeze. They have the Nightmare. It's going to connect, and now Skylark here. A lot of damage coming out. Thug thought that he was going to be able to make something happen, but he gets the help even with the maybe next time, and they're able to do it with the help from his friends.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to kill off the Night Stalker, though. The Hunter of the Night and Boot's still going to be a little bit too much here, so yeah, he's kind of sticking around, baiting by the Shrine, which they're going to activate anyways, and still a great first blood coming out with that haster, and I don't think that they would have gotten it without maybe next time's rotation, so being able to clean up Sniper of all heroes as the first blood is going to be setting up mousesports in a really good way. In the meantime, though, Madara taking a lot of damage down bottom. Is he just dead?
He is. They just walked at him and threw on the Thunderstrike. So a rare misplay by Madara, who's been carrying this team in a lot of these qualifiers and leading up to it now as well in the group stages.
Yeah, this is just pretty unfortunate. I mean, they're putting out a lot of good pressure here, but did they get the glimpse now? They'll spin the glimpse as it comes out. But yeah, just he's constantly kind of feeling himself in a bit of a tight spot here. The less that maybe next time is there to help him out, the harder the lane gets. And I'm pretty sure what happened was he might have even been trying to spin a glimpse before. No matter what, he didn't have it available when he needed it, and that cost him a pretty important kill. Anyways, RTK going to be sitting here at level 4, kind of gradually progressing here. I assume he's going to be going for the early Hand of Midas like he has been pretty much for the past few days.
Yeah. He's sort of backing back and forth between items. It looks like he bought the stick for a second, then sold it, and yeah, we'll see what he lands on there at the end. The mid lane is where we might see some more aggression coming in. A ward placed down by maybe next time. They do not scout out aggressive here, though, so won't be able to find him with a movement in from Brain Sap.
So they're going to wait out the first night pretty effectively here. FY is going to be trying to make a move towards mid. Sees the regen rune, but won't be really seeing any openings on the Thug here as far as I can tell. Still, I mean, you don't see too much at nighttime here, so Night Stalker has a really good idea of what's going on, and he is pretty far forward, and will at least get some good damage in.
Yeah, maybe next time is here, though, as well with the Nightmare. They're going to pull him back in. There's going to be the Astral. He still does move into this spot with Fenrir here. They are bringing him low. They get the Nightmare off, but it looks like Thug is going to die regardless. So, Vici J picking up the kill onto the OD.
Generation.
Yeah, very nice clean kill. Just bringing in Disruptor as needed. Down bottom, we do have Madara fighting it out with RTK. Has to watch that second Purify in these kind of brawls back and forth, but the Kitty Cat Healing Ward should bring him back up to a pretty healthy pool to continue to fight.
All right. On FY, still wanting to get up, and does finally find that level 4 for himself now, so has access to the Crippling Fear if he wants to go for another play towards mid. But with only a minute left in nighttime, might just instead decide to farm up and get those levels for himself, as it looks like Skylark is going to build into taking down this ancient stack that has been ever so patiently built up by Spartan.
Yep, and that's going to be pretty high value for him. Playing around the shrine is actually really useful for Bristleback. It's just one of these things where if you do have the health, it can do a lot for you. But OD is caught behind enemy lines here. MNT is going to be coming in a little bit too slow. That's just going to be another death for Thug.
Yeah, very tough game for him. It's just a great answer that they have. The Sniper and Fenrir there. This Disruptor has been making a lot of plays. First being able to force out that Blade Fury like we were talking about from Madara earlier, and then also getting the kill now onto OD a couple of times.
Yeah, very, very important kills too, because this Thug is a player that can really ball out of control if he gets a lot of momentum in the laning phase, and he was looking like he was going to get it, but obviously the Sniper being a tough pick to go up against, but more importantly, those last two picks are going to be slowing him down tremendously, and where they were going to have a lot of momentum coming out of farming of that Ancient and taking a couple of fights, going into the next daytime instead, they're actually starting to fall behind. The only person that's suffering more than mousesports as a whole is actually going to be Aggressive, who never really got to stay very long in the top lane and has been focusing almost exclusively on the jungle, but even he has just now passed the net worth of the OD and Jug, so he's still not in that bad of a spot with this Iron Talon play.
Yeah, and he's just constantly spam out these abilities. Thug there, I don't know if he's a little bit late on the go with his Astral Imprisonment, but ends up still taking the brunt of that Assassinate. I guess the one sort of bright spot right now for Mouz is going to be Skylark, who's been able to have a great game for himself so far. Do you think that he has the tools to carry mousesports in this one, or do you think it's not really that big of a deal what we've been seeing so far as the carries being hampered in by Mouz?
We will keep an eye on the smoke rotation mid, but to answer that, I do think that the Bristleback is... Oh, Freeze just going down too much.
That should be a quick and easy kill, no problem.
But yeah, the Bristleback is kind of a hero that will start to taper off after a certain period of time. Like, he's going to be able to dominate really well on the map if he can just close a distance on his targets and just continue to spam with the close spray. I feel like maybe his talents are something that are a little bit underrated, where Bristleback can continue to be more impactful as he hits those 10, 15, level 20 timings. But at the end of the day, unless he has a BKB, he's still going to be controlled pretty well by the Disruptor, the Ember Spirit, and I just overall don't know if this pick is going to be doing what it needs to in the mid game.
Madara gets the spin off. Can they gate the escape? Not going to happen. Aggressive able to find him, but well, right now he does have another Remnant available. They're not quite going to be able to run him down, as he does have that haste rune. Maybe Spartan here. He doesn't have any points in the mana leak either. He's going to pop the ulti, go for the blinding light pushback, and actually gives a little bit of separation. Maybe next time it's here. Does have the Nightmare. This might be what they're looking for. Brain Sap used, down on low on HP, and Aggressive is going to pop to that one. Skylark picking up the kill.
Yeah, tries to find an opportunity there onto the Keeper Light. Instead makes a pretty big misstep against the Infused Raindrops. Almost had himself a kill, but would have guaranteed his death either way. So I have to question the decision to go in there, and we do see that it is going to be costing him his life and breaking down some of that early farm. Still going to be third in net worth, the most impressive, and that's where the problems just continue for mousesports. Like, Skylark is the most farmed in his team, but it's not that substantial next to RTK and to Aggressive.
Yeah. It will say that it's sort of a bit of an awkward game by and large, because a lot of the traditional heroes that are there for the maximum carry potential, the OD, the Jug, they don't have the farm that you would normally expect. It's the offlaners really that have been the ones that have gotten it. ROTK top of the net worth. So I want to see sort of how the next couple of minutes work out with rotations, and with the next nighttime coming up. Do you feel like Vici are under any pressure to get things done, or are they just pretty comfortable standing pat and keeping on getting their farm up with this Midas Night Stalker?
Yeah, I mean, the Midas Night Stalker is going to be hitting a pretty solid timing here. I usually look for a 28-minute Aghanim Scepter timing for Night Stalkers. It's just a good nighttime window in general. Nice pick up there on bottom. The Omni Knight really can't respond too much to the Fiend's Grip there, but yeah, okay, nice pick up on Juggernaut. Just
oh my god. Nicely played by Fenrir. Level 7 already and able to punish that movement by mousesports.
very clean kills. But yeah, I feel like the Midas action is going to be favorable for both sides. I mean, you got 2 on the side of Vici J. You got the more important one on Thug for the OD, but just in general, yeah, I think that you're going to see this Night Stalker come online in a big way around that, like, let's say 20 to 28 minute mark. Then they're going to be able to find the clear vision, keep your light shut down. I actually don't even think you go for Aghanims if you're up against the Night Stalker. I think you just kind of remove that from the Keeper Life item build.
Which is tough because it is something that's still so good to have available. As we do see up in the top, Aggressive and FY getting set up to maybe make something happen onto Madarigan, who's just sitting underneath this tower, having already used the Blade Fury. Likewise, bottom lane, Skylark and Spartan here. A dynamic duo, Batman and Robin with Chakram and Cool Sprays. But there's really nobody to go on at this stage.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Status quo
attack.
remains, and we're just going to be kind of seeing both sides kind of build themselves up here. Sniper has a Midas himself, and he is now the third bearer of it, and going to be trying to build himself up some mobility for his defense. In the meantime, up top, under the tower, FY is going in.
Yeah, he is going to end up being able to get out of there. The glimpse, actually, going to catch him out. FY, it wasn't a glimpse, excuse me. They glimpsed back the OD.
The OD TP'd up, got the imprisonment to cancel the TP, but does get sent back, and it might just be now insufficient damage.
Oh my god, Madara! They go back in, Fenrir! They baited that out so beautifully! Oh, what a great collection of plays.
Well, you can definitely understand why they decided Fenrir is going to be the one on the Disruptor at this point in time, despite Night Stalker fitting pretty well into his playstyle as well. His execution on this Disruptor has been near perfect. Easy glimpses, great usage of the Static Storm, just finding picks left and right. And I honestly, I hate to say this out loud because I love playing this hero so much, but I cannot believe that this cooldown is still 90 seconds. Static Storm is such an amazing spell, even at level 1.
Yeah, it's incredibly good, and it's, you know, one of those team fight ultimates that once it comes online, you have to be cognizant of it. And I guess just also aware of where Disruptor is across the field the entire time, because he can so quickly change a fight, particularly when you have these early rotating heroes and, you know, Kato recalling heroes in, all the bibs and bobs. Is Skylark going to be able to take down another set of Ancients for himself? Still the most farmed hero in the game, and looks like he's going to be going next into a Lotus Orb.
Yep, so that's going to be a pretty interesting item. Just allow him to stay on the front lines here. Not going to be caught too easily by different things like the Crippling Fear, the Searing Chains. Maybe he can reflect a couple of spells like Glimpse and Assassinate, but for the most part, it's just to kind of keep him active here. And it's almost a replacement of a BKB. It gives him nice armor, but he gets the dispel he needs to kind of stay on the fight and maybe help him weather that. But
oh god, they are dropping the Static Sword on him maybe next time again. They find 2 kills mid, and it is just all-out aggression. Vici J have found the answers for mousesports lineup. I don't know if it all began with banning out the Legion Commander or what exactly is going on, but mousesports need to find something. Maybe it's by killing FY down here in the bottom lane. He's trying to go for the TP out and is going to get it, so nothing going right now for Mouse.
I mean, it's a really cute pocket strat to have this Bristleback, and he is starting to blow up in terms of his overall net worth, but I just, again, have to go back to the aspect of lack of control, and it makes these early skirmishes really hard. They do get the Mana Leak level 3 here onto the Disruptor, but now it's going to be the Sniper just taking pot shots at Thug and bring him down to half HP before he even enters the fight.
Well, they're going to keep this pressure on at least for a moment, but it does look like Thug, they cancel that ulti, so not going to get the Assassinate off. Still holding on to the mid, they don't kill off the Disruptor. And Mouse maybe going to be going for a smoke play now that they're all grouped up together, or possibly just sharing experience. Let's all get together.
That real quick at the very least, and then they can smoke immediately thereafter, MNT having it online. But yeah, the Juggernaut doesn't actually get inside the smoke, so we'll just have to see if that was an intentional.
Oh, Radiant scan them going in immediately. They know that they're going in for Roshan, and well, guess what? Static Storm back up in 6 seconds. We'll see if they do indeed decide to come and defend against this. Everybody's grouped up together.
But they so far have stuck through it. Like, this was a smoke play into the rush, and they actually recalled the Juggernaut in. There's no vision here. There's a circle drawn on the map. They have to be aware to some extent, but Dane will scout any rotations as they just finish it up with the Viscous Nasal Goo.
I mean, they scanned that area, so I guess this has to be a concerted area because they did pop the scan when they were going that way. So I guess Vici not wanting to go and contest at this point and just feeling like
they literally might have not known. It was still a green scan, and they didn't actually catch anything, so they thought they might be in general in that area, knew they were missing, but we're mostly just focused on not getting picked because, you know, you have to worry about being script from the tree line and getting caught out in a really awkward position. So, I mean, they definitely guessed that it was very possible. They drew on the map, but whether they felt they couldn't contest it or they just were not 100% sure where they were, it's hard to say. At this point in time, though, they've got an Aegis on the Berthelback Skylark on the front line, large and in charge with the healing board as well. And I gotta say that they're pretty confident, at least to grab this tier 2.
Now, this is what you want to do with this lineup. You have a lot of sustainability coming in from Skylark, but the problem is you already have so much net worth on these other heroes. Freeze not really having the most damage, but a lot of attack speed, slowing down that Bristleback every time they go for it. They are going to glimpse back the OD for the moment. And, well, maybe round 2 coming in now. They're trying to go for it. Ember doing a little bit of damage. Not a ton, as they do take the kill on the courier.
All right, so a little bit of interesting back and forth. There's not going to be much more done to the tier 2 at this point in time, but there are at least a double stack of Ancients that I think mousesports want to stick around for.
Yeah, finish that off, get the Lotus Orb done, and then maybe make the play for possibly going for a tier 1 tower in the top lane. Seems to be a pretty decent objective.
Yeah, I mean, not what you're looking for when you have Aegis up, but I also think it's probably the safer approach when you're up against such heavy team fight that Vici can offer. Yeah, clearing out a little bit of the jungle here, and I think maybe a tier 1 up top would be the safer bet. That's like easy money. When you look at this mid tier 2, it's probably better value for their time, but it comes with significant risk.
Or maybe Mouse just go crazy and say, you know what, we want this tier 2 and maybe more. There's going to be the jump forward. Force Staff pushing Skylark ahead. He's going to have the double coils if he wants, but needs to be a little bit careful that he doesn't get too pulled out of position. You also have the Glimpse still available, as well as the Static Storm from Disruptor. And Skylark gets the Lotus Orb there. There's the double Glimpse back. They pull him back into this. You still do have Nightmare available, but Bane not really in range to be able to get it off onto Skylark. The Force Staff still keeping him alive. The Assassinate is going to burn through that Aegis, but there it is. Fiend's Grip onto ROTK, but Madara inside that Static Storm in trouble. The Nightmare going to end up getting that catch, but it's not going to be a deny. Freeze still finding that kill, and they still can't really chase. They can't get away. Freeze is dealing too much damage and slowing them down too much.
Oh, well, now they kind of baited him in a little bit too far. Sniper has no getaway tool at this point, and they are going to be able to focus him down. So losing the Jug, and Spartan kind of walks right into it, but they do actually get a couple of important kills nevertheless. So, I mean, this trade is pretty solid, other than the Aegis loss. The Aegis loss obviously tips the scale in favor of Vici, but just otherwise, the break-even kills definitely pads the net worth and experience that mousesports were lacking. So, overall, these past 10 minutes haven't been too bad for them, but I feel like things are going to get more difficult now that FY has this Aghanim Scepter. 20-minute nighttime, gets the darkness out, has his Ags, and has all that vision.
Yeah, and we don't have the Coddle going for the Aghanim Scepter himself, at least not yet. Just holding on for the moment with that Force Staff, but all of the vision advantage you're going to gain. The thing I will say, though, about mousesports lineup is that I don't feel as if it's relying upon pickoffs as much as just trying to burn down towers. And while you will find the fight that you want from Vici, maybe you get into enough items with mousesports where you can actually just run at them and they can't really do much about it. And they can see you going at them, but they can't really stop it. As maybe next time is going to be hunted in the night by FY. The Void is there, as well as the Glimpse back, and Static Storm used. There's going to be a rotation. Thugs come in, saving the buddy. The Fenrir is here as well. Can they actually make this work for them? It doesn't look like it. They have the Fiend's Grip onto FY. Going to end up pulling him down. He did get the repel off, but it doesn't matter. Able to still find that kill, and now controlling up ROTK. He's out of mana. 8 stick charges. Is going to be caught now by Thug yet again. So this is 2 high-priority pickoffs as they're able to bring down Vici.
Yeah, I think they just break down the creep wave and walk down mid. I mean, that Static Storm was used so aggressively. This is the 3rd time now that we just got to see the solo Static Storm, but in this case, it's actually too far and too deep. I mean, obviously, shrines are still up. There's plenty of ways to get to that position to fight, and you just used your biggest team fight spell in the Shulker Ultimate. So, ends up, the Bane survives, is able to turn it back around, and and 2 very important kills, set up a pretty much free 2.
Yeah, and you've got heals that are coming in now as well. The tower is going to start to drop. This is by and large looking really good for Mouz. Of course, there's always going to be the issue of going high ground against a sniper. But those couple of kills and now backing off together, holding hands, has maybe found a little bit more of a breathing room for Mouz, who are kind of getting suffocated slightly.
Yeah, but at this point, FY, Gem, Aghadom's up. Just going to be moving around. There's no hiding from him. And he's going to be able to find, just keep it light in the tree line.
Oh, no. They do get the catch, though, saving him for the moment. Skylark now goes in as well. Aggressive. Might end up being a little bit of trouble. The 4-step pulls him back in. They're able to get that kill. So a nice one down as Kato is already there. ROTK, the Static Storm comes out, connects onto 2, at least for the moment, only onto Thug. Skylark still doing a lot of damage in this, but they've already taken out OD. Can Skylark actually soak up enough damage? It doesn't look like it's going to be enough, as 5 heroes on him. This Skylark, stick charges and all, it's not going to be enough to keep him alive.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, it's just a very difficult situation to be in. If they go into that fight, they know they're walking like into a 3-man Static Storm. They were able to split it well enough, but the OD was still the easy focus target. He just doesn't have enough items at this point in time. Like, he's got the Mighty, he's got the 4-staff. Really needs something like a BKB or just anything that allows them to keep staying in the fight. They don't have that Cuddle heal, even though he is going to be working towards the Aghadoms. Well, he can't rely on that. And as such, it's kind of constantly forcing him into situations where he's going to be taking a lot of hits and he really just has no rebuttal.
And it is still only a 4,000 net worth lead at this point in the game, but it feels like the heroes from Vici J are going to be able to continue to take advantage of the vision advantage they're going to have by virtue of FY. And that's, to me, one of the biggest issues is, like, finding Kato in the trees there is a big problem, as RTK is going to lose a good bit of mana to the mana leak, but nothing else off the back of it.
So they just go ahead, darkness up as soon as day breaks, and they'll have about half this day covered up in shadow. So this allows FY to just continue to move aggressively, and actually going to see a dual combo here on the OD. He is going to be, in Prism Skull cooldown, that's going to be it.
Nicely done. They do have that Fiend script available if they want to try to go aggressive, but they don't really have the damage from the rest of the heroes to make anything of it. So even though you end up having the catch onto aggressive there's no follow-up, and now they've caught onto the Bristleback. There's the pullback into the Static Storm yet again. You see that Spartan wanted to help out his buddy, but he's just going to get picked off as well. Save your buddy syndrome is not going to save anything, as Mouz are crumbling at this early stage, 24 minutes in.
And I hate to say it, but there really isn't much in terms of a comeback from this. They're actually going to be seeing the Madara having trouble finishing off this bottom tier 2 tower. Double damage screen has expired. That was low on mana and just gets caught out there. So very awkward. The double damage screen had already expired, but still just taking the full 100% Omni Slash just to the Ember Spirit is actually extremely painful. So,
and yeah, that was a Juggernaut who was like 5th or 6th in the net worth, and now is suddenly 3rd. It's about the best you could hope for if you're Mouz. That's the hero you needed gold on, and you found it.
930 just from aggressive, like one small misstep there. Very painful, actually. That is a huge swing for the Juggernaut. I was about to talk about how mousesports really don't have a way back into this game, but I mean, you can always hope for a throw. You can always wait for your opponent to make a big enough mistake, and that is certainly a substantial one. I mean, that's completing his defusal plate now.
Yeah. You get into that Blink Dagger next for him. He's going to be in good position, almost able to break that Blink, or rather the TP of FY, with a couple of 4-staffs coming out and the Blinding Light, but not quite there. Still, a long Roche respawn timer means that mousesports not really able to capitalize on that Ember Spirit being dead, with the exception of farming a bit more gold for themselves.
So, down bottom though, aggressive comes right back out to the front lines here, and if they can just, I guess they don't really have anything. Even the Omni Slash is still too much to hope for at the moment, but if they can rotate the Bane quickly under smoke or something, if you get that out there, they can still kind of try to catch them off guard.
Yeah, there's a chance there, and actually, oh my god, that was close. Maybe next time was coming in, and I think that aggressive, not wanting to get picked off a second time, played the correct move.
So a very defensive build from Thug, but a very necessary one here. Hurricane Pike into BKB is going to allow him to actually kind of stand and deliver in the fights, and I think this is the next stage, is they really need to transition towards being able to fight despite the Disruptor ultimate that's been really catching them out a bunch of different times. But now we see even before nighttime, the smoke comes out for Vici. Normally, you would see this 60 seconds later, because if you pop Darkness, you're obviously revealing quite a few intentions. That being said, they're going to pop it anyways, and it's going to be mousesports that's just kind of huddle in fear. So I don't think the smoke will find anything, but they are at least going to be kind of taking back the map.
Yeah, and this sets up well for Roshan. They know that Roche was coming up right about now since it's the max respawn, and at least they'll have the edge on getting ready to come and contest it. And, well, we'll see, as this could be one of those big moments. Skylark walking in.
Nightstalker sees everything here, so it's very clear to him that what the approach is from mousesports. The question is, can they isolate a target? Right now, Ember Spirit does not have the BOTs. It's a 4 versus 5 if they get into this.
I mean, they have the glimpse there right away. They're pulling Thug back in. He is going to get nightmared for the moment and still drop low. They find the kill. They've lost Thug. He can't step that far forward, and now the rest of Mouse is in a ton of trouble. Maybe next time. He's already used Fiend Script here. Spartan just trying to TP away. And now you're going to have another glimpse up very shortly to pull Skylark back in if they want to use it, and they have done just that. They don't have another Static Storm, so maybe biting off more than they could chew. Skylark, too big of a meal for them.
So this game would, I feel, be a lot different if the BKB was already done for the OD. They'd be committing to that fight. He pops the BKB and turns, and the Ember Spirit arrives too late for them to actually do anything with it. But now they're going into Roach. They know the OD's down. They have all this vision with the Night Stalker, and they don't have to be afraid of anything. In fact, going on, forcing the Shrine under Spartan, and just going to be able to dance their way right back out. I don't think they keep going for Roach, but they can fight in the choke.
All right, Slark, he ends up going down, popping the Lotus Orb, keeping a little bit of pressure onto them. Omni Slash going to be able to be committed, but now you have a little bit of a problem because the ulti's already come out. Fenrir, Jane ran down a little bit by Madara as well, but they don't have enough damage. Too much heals coming out, and you get the Manta trying to stay alive. Madara in trouble. Can he end up getting out of there? No is the answer. You do have OD who's going to TP back into this, but an aggressive, pretty low on HP as well. The 4-step forward trying to find the kill. He didn't end up dropping the hammer. Unfortunate. And still, they have the Shadow Blade now, as well as Silver Edge. They try and reflect this back. This is a big problem. Skylark going to be kept alive for the moment. Static Storm relatively wasted at this stage. They're still trying to run at him. Skylark barely left alive, but he is going to drop. Buyback is there for the Jug if they want to try and go into this one, but it looks like they might just end up losing Thug. And if they lose Thug, they're going to lose Roche. And if they lose Roche, they might just end up losing the game as well. Vici J are dominating.
It's just too much at this point. The Bristleback is not nearly as tanky as he was when that Silver Edge is up against him, taking that passive away, as well. This OD still delayed of his BKB. Like, I gotta say, he might, if he had sold the Xanamitis to buy the BKB, they actually might have been able to win these last two fights. But I'm not 100% certain of this, but I'm pretty sure he has not cast his ultimate this entire game. I don't believe that Sandy's Eclipse has come out whatsoever. It might have cast one time and I missed it, but he has not been making any real impact on this OD.
Well, it's gone from bad to worse to a little bit of hope to bad again for the mousesports teams, but for Vici J, it's all smiles, I'm sure, as they just feel completely in control. You've got all the vision in the world, you've got the damage. Maybe they can find something here as they try and run down FY. And able to push him back in, but the Repel, the Guardian Greaves, and they're out of there.
Where do you go from here? I mean, you got the Aegis up for Sniper. Freeze, feeling very confident about himself, has some really good items banked up here in the Silver Edge, the Maelstrom, and now Mjolnir. And you can just go from there with whatever he wants. Looks like it's going to be the Hurricane Pike, and it just extends his range further. How do you beat your way through an Omni, a Night Stalker, and a Disruptor to get to Sniper who's just going to Hurricane Pike away? I mean, it's just a almost impossible proposition.
Madara gets the spin away here as Aggressive not able to run him down. But, well, that's actually also a Blink Dagger done on Juggernaut. He has sort of, again, remained at least somewhat relevant in this game. And you almost have the BKB now done on the OD. If there's a way to take a fight, it's got to happen now. But they also have the Aegis on Vici J, so it's all bad.
Yeah, for the most part. There's actually very little that can be done at this point in time. Sniper will build up Hurricane Pike extremely quickly, And at that moment, he becomes almost impossible to kill unless he's all by himself. If he's with his teammates, they should be able to give him enough coverage that he should be able to keep his distance from Pike and just do what he needs to do. But this is a pretty impressive flank. It is daytime now.
This is the time. It's going to be darkness, though, immediately. And aggressive, he walks forward. They are going to be able to jump immediately onto Freeze. He gets the Shadow Blade away, though. There's no reveal there. Aggressive being controlled and is going to end up falling. They've already popped the BKB, though. Can they find anything more here? They need more kills. They need to take down Freeze. He's running away, but I think that they're going to be able to catch him. They drop the Static Storm. They've already used the BKB on Thug. Madara chasing now, trying to find a kill desperately, and they are going to be able to get it. Thug barely staying alive there. He does still have Sanity's Eclipse if he wants to go back into this, but I think he has to just stay out of the fight for the moment as Freeze going to drop, and that is a lot of gold into the coffers of Madara.
Absolutely, the OD surviving just narrowly, and them being able to get such a big bounty out of those kills, breaking the Aegis, getting 2,700 gold as well as 6,800 experience from that fight. It's exactly what they needed at the exact time they needed.
Yeah, and that was also the darkness pop, so it's still only about like 20 seconds of daytime left here. Maybe they can get down the tier 2 tower and think about a little bit more. Is that even a possibility since they saved on to a couple of those ultis?
Well, they'll do what they can, but I don't necessarily think that high ground is the right play. I mean, right now, you got to go for pretty much big risks if you're going to get big rewards, but this is going to be kinetic static coming up very soon. They should force the glyph and back off, in my mind.
All right, they're recalling in the OD. It looks like they want to party. They're taking some damage onto this tier 3 tower. You still have Sniper gone for 20 more seconds, and ROTK, he's still there. You have Fiend Script back up in 10 seconds. If you can manage to hold out that long, they're going to be able to control him, burning through that mana as well. Tier 3 tower down. And now it's time to get out.
Just blink in and get free into Static Storm. Just gets the coddle, though.
All right, there's the catch. To Remnant forward, going to be able to catch on to one. No, they keep Spartan alive. Nicely done there, and Skylark is in him as well. They're chasing this down a little bit further. You have Thug ulti still available if they want to go for it, but they're backing out yet again, waiting for the reinitiation possibility. Logos Orb is there onto Skylark, keeping him healthy. But meanwhile, maybe next time, looking for possibly here another Fiend Script. It's hard to run away at this stage, but there's the jump forward from Aggressive. They've killed off the Coddle, and now they're going to kill off Skylark. And now Mouz really and truly does have to back out. Or go back in, pop the BKB, turn to fight. They take down ROTK, okay. Maybe going to get Freeze as well. They're looking to try and run this down, but Madara solo is going to drop. They need to find something. But at the end of the day, it was all a hope and a dream for Mouz as they lose 5.
And that's exactly what it was. They got the glyph and they could have backed off from there, but every second they committed was a situation where they'd be glimpsed back or they'd just be slowed down by the Omni and the Night Stalker. There's really no retreating from the lineup of Vici J. They've got so many ways to mire you down between the Searing Change, to the later on the Snipers, the Shrapnel, and everything else that I mentioned. You have to be very, very careful of how you choose to siege the space, because Sniper's dead for 20 seconds, but how are you going to be able to get away from the Radiant side of the map in the next 20 seconds? And it's just actually not possible against Vici J's lineup. So they overstay their welcome, and we actually see a nice little pickup on the Coddle, but the grand spectrum of things is that 5-man wipe for just 1 or 2 heroes.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one, and I think that in that instance, if you're Mousesports too, are you going to get a better opportunity than that to take down a tier 3 tower? I don't think so. In this game, they had to make something big happen, and the unfortunate part is that it's still not likely to work out for them. Their own tier 3 tower is now being assaulted as well. Aggressive. They're on to maybe next time. He's going to Remnant forward and away and find the kill.
So, I mean, they're still spaced out pretty well here. Fenrir is a little bit limited in his health and Mana Soul, but yeah, they're not really looking for the fight right now. They've already gotten what they wanted, and at this point, they've just got a full reset on their hands. Vici J are going to be able to completely control the map with this Aghanim gem continuously, and like you said, Mousesports, they took the best opportunity they had, but I just don't think they're going to find many more like that this game.
All right. Let's see. Anything else that's really changed? You have the Heaven's Halberd on Bristleback. That's pretty good.
Really good, actually.
Yeah.
This item has been buffed like crazy. As far as people just keep on ignoring it. It's a good evasion item in general, but it wasn't good enough to not just buy another item at the same price value. But now this item has a huge uptime. It's I think 5.5 seconds for range disarm and it only has an 18-second cooldown. So you can have this up almost a third of the time on the sniper, who does not have a BKB.
Yeah, he is going to actually... oh, wait, no, he did just pick it up. It just got delivered to him on the courier.
There you go. So now Freeze has an answer to that as well. Yeah, it's a hard knock play.
It's a tough one. Game is hard. As aggressive, doesn't quite connect there with chains onto Thug. Just giving a little, hey, how you doing? And it really has felt to me like it's been this Fenrir disruptor that's been the cogs working in the background to make this Vici J draft work.
Right now, they are just going to keep on methodically just clearing things out, pressure the map, look for their opportunities, take a tier 2 tower, it looks like. The Shrine's still not vulnerable as the tier 3s continue to stand.
No. Roshan has the potential to be spawning soon. If they could sneak a Roche...
They're actually going to just kill the Shrine on the Radiant side.
Okay.
And if they do it quickly enough, then that's going to actually make Roshan a lot easier. The question is, BJ, how do they respond? Do they just go for the base? I think that might be just the easiest way in. They still have all this intel thanks to the Night Sky.
I mean, they don't do a ton of damage to the tower with the exception of Sniper, and it looks like there's a recall potential as well, so there are going to be a couple of creeps here, and there's the glimpse away, actually. But he didn't use a TP for this. The Assassinate third back in, Nightmare to keep Spartan alive, and they will still be able to TP the Bristleback back because it was just a recall that was used. Still, though, Freeze hitting there, up front and center, and they still can't really stop the damage as another shot back onto Sniper. He's hitting himself, but he'll back up again.
Yeah, but they've almost got that tower. Just one more hit here. He'll poke it down from low ground, commits it, finds it, and they'll be able to repel him and back away. So this is what all they wanted. Just a tier 3 allows them to take the Shrines down and really eliminates any foothold mousesports have on the map.
Check in Roche there as well. It's about middle of the road in terms of respawn time, so it's still going to be a little while before Vici can take advantage, but it's really just enough time for them to make the move over to the Dire Shrine, the second one, if they want to. Take that out as well.
So at this point, it looks like mousesports in general are going to look to try to be pretty defensive in that area, but I don't know. This is a really tough spot to be in. We're looking for a Hex on Thug, but it's just so far off. Right now, he's still sitting on the same items he has been. Blink, BKB, Hurricane Pike. There are some cool things you can do with the Blink Dagger on OD, like self-imprison and immediately blink out of it. But in general, it's really the timer on the BKB. You have 8 seconds to do a lot of damage, or the fight's just going to be lost by default.
And we are, what is this going to be, 1,500 gold away from Disruptor having an Aghanim Scepter as well?
Oh my, that's really not good at all.
Yeah. Well, another jump forward, and there's just no punishment for this Ember. There's a couple of those Hurricane Pike shots going back the way of Vici J as Thug continuing to do what he can. Yet everybody backs out. So still a very tough game. You have, like, you know, a couple of talents that are here for the Dire that might help a little bit, but it's 25 on Ember, so he has the cooldown reduction. Hard game.
Definitely. And, you know, Spartans around with the Aghanim Scepter is going to experience maybe 1 minute of daytime here, maybe not even that. But just half the value of this Aghanim's is in the daytime, and just being able to continuously cast Blinding Light and Recall doesn't really seem to be all that valuable as opposed to maybe some alternatives. But at the end of the day, I don't really feel like any 4,200 gold decision is going to define this game. It really is just BGJ have a better draft at this stage to keep fighting in these enclosed spaces.
All right, well, 20 seconds before Darkness is going to be able to be popped again, where Spartan does have that active. So there's something going at the very least, but still not an easy one.
On Sniper, though, so
Glimpse pulling him back in. There's the Force Staff away to the high ground. Keeping him alive still. They are going to have a heal shot through of this in just a second. Jump forward. They've caught on to Freeze. BKB popped already. There is going to be the ulti coming out, and now it's nighttime. No more heals coming in from that Coddle. Madara trying to get out, as to is maybe next time Aggressive jumps forward. They're going to be able to jump away from there. Skylark's still alive, and now Thug caught in the Static Storm. He's already used his BKB, and the Nightmare comes out to try and save him, but it wasn't ever going to be enough. Fenrir dominating streak, and Skylark just going to slowly be taken down as well.
I mean, that just might be it. I mean, they've just put everything they could in trying to bring him down. They even got the disarm on Freeze immediately after his BKB expired, but it's showing that they just don't have much left in their wheelhouse. In fact, aggressive and FY are just going to chase down the Juggernaut. They'll buy back as much as they can, but they're in the end just scrambling to try to survive in these fights, and they haven't had a real legitimate 5-man win since the beginning of the game, essentially.
Wow, it's been a tough one, certainly for Mouz, and looking to be towards the end here as they will pick up the Aegis on Freeze. MKB in his slots next. You need the perfect fight, but you are never going to get it against this Night Stalker Aghanim Scepter, which was just such a great answer to the Coddle first pick that Mouz took.
Alright, well now they just go for the siege mode. They've got Aegis on Sniper, Fearless, they'll go right in hard on Bait. Maybe time already out of the picture.
Yeah, and Madara's there as well, trying to spin away, but they're all over them. Vici J continuing to assault the base of mousesports there. A jump forward Omni Slash as well, but now the Omni Slash is bouncing back around because of the Lotus Orb. FY had a better Omni Slash than Madara did. There's the BKB pop for Thug. They want to get on top of one target, but Freeze just popped his BKB, and now he's doing a hell of a lot more damage than Thug was ever going to do, and now ROTK chasing as well. There's Skylark, who's Lotus Orb trying to mount up the damage, but that's Thug gone. Skylark silenced, soon to be killed off, and GG well played is called as Vici J take this one over mousesports 2-0.
That sets up Vici J for a 2-2 in, 2-2 in this group stage. So going to be pretty much running on the middle of the pack, whereas mousesports unfortunately going to be running 1 and 3. So while they're not dead last, IG Vitality and SG Esports are taking the bottom seats. Mousesports is only the runner up to that. So pretty unfortunate.